This year marked the 50th anniversary of the discovery of the Golden Man. And every day, the study of this historical monument brings new discoveries. It would seem that everything is studied, described, or proven. But each of the 4,000 gold objects still hides the secrets of the great Saka people. Their history, culture, worldview, philosophy, and even writing.
Блеск золота, конечно, хорошо, но там есть...
The gold glitter is nice, but there is something much more valuable than gold. This is the inscription on the silver bowl.
Вот надпись на серебряной чаше.
A silver bowl was found in the tomb of Issyk Mound with 26 writings on it that have not been deciphered until now. Careful analysis showed that the inscription on the bowl, which consisted of 2 lines, contains a total of 25 or 26 characters, among which 16 to 17 different characters were recognized, which indicates the alphabetical nature of the inscription.
Наличие письменности уже говорит о высоком уровне развития сакского общества.
The presence of writing already speaks about the high development of Saka society. It shall be followed by the idea of statehood, some form of government. We were called to be illiterate until 1917. It turns out that 2,500 years ago, our ancestors used alphabetic writing, and this is unquestionably an alphabetical letter.
Получается, что 2500 лет тому назад наши предки уже пользовались алфавитным письмом. Это алфавитное письмо.
Recently, the entire scientific world bypassed another version of reading the inscription on the silver bowl. It belongs to Azerbaijani researcher Zaur Gasanov. It was he who proposed his version of the text of the inscription on the silver bowl found in the burial mound with the Golden Man.
4 булчуз сынглые ыр, уж юзых анта ычыр. И расшифровывается он следующим образом. 4 сторон света.
Third bull shoes, singly ur, ushus ur anta ushur. And it stands for as follows. Singly tribes sing about 4 sides of the world. 300 drink the union oath. Herodotus describes this rite as the Scythians drinking the union oath. They pour blood into a cup, mix it with wine, put their weapons in it, and then drink this oath of blood together.
Копье или оружие. Аналогии вот этого титула.
The word singly, which is found in Issyk inscriptions, means a spear or weapon. We can find the analogy of this singly title in the Chinese written sources when it says that the Huns had the blade Qinglu. And as the Chinese sources write, Hun's emperor lowers precisely this blade Qinglu into a cup where wine with horse blood was mixed and then drink the oath blood together with their allies. Chenglu and Singli are the same kind of weapon which can be both sword and spear. This is a very interesting moment that can be associated with the title of the Golden Man.
Интересный момент, который может быть связан с титулом Золотого человека.
The location of the objects that once adorned the burial chamber of the Golden Man, the remains of an iron sword and a silver bowl, allowed researchers to recreate the appearance of the Saka warrior king as a result of painstaking work, for the first time in science. Perhaps the Golden Warrior, as a representative of the higher military estate, had a ritual drink from this bowl, giving the Union oath on blood. It is important for us that Kemal Akishev discovered this writing and showed the world that the Saka culture is. Who are the Saka? The complex of finds in the Issyk mound gave additional materials that shed light on the level of the social history of the Saka of Semirechye. Kemal Akishev.
Kemal
Aga wrote in the same book dedicated to the Golden Man. Gold is a warm metal. It has the heat and energy of the sun. A gold suit is a sun suit. This is the sun. The sun was God. There is a book of one scientist. When the sun was God, it is about Egypt. I think Saka also had the sun as a god. Herodotus wrote that they worship the sun of all the deities. Kemal Akishev argued that the Issyk find is of great value for Kazakh science, similar to that of the tomb of Tutankhamun for modern Egypt. The remains of a Saka warrior convey the sacred meaning of the mythology of the ancient world. Surprisingly, one of the precious rings of the Issyk warrior has a strange image that resembles an Indian. Scientists believe that this is the face of an ancient nomadic deity, the god Mithras. The examination showed that the gold jewelry was worn for some time and even subjected to repair. Most likely, it was a family heirloom. Among the ornaments of the Issyk chief, most of the images are of marls. These are false belt plaques in the form of deer with bent legs, huge branching horns with wings, or with heads of griffins. There are many explanations for the popularity of this image. The simplest implies that it is a hunting trophy or an animal sacrificed. The sun was deified. It was the central figure of the universe, and as its earthly image was the golden deer. Another system of the world order was represented by the tree of life, and the branching antlers of a deer are its symbol.
Kemal
Akishev actually stood at the origins of archaeological and historical cultural reconstruction of the inhabitants of the Kangyu state period. It is the 2nd to the 4th century AD. Of the Saka, it is actually his reconstruction of the Golden Man, the August Kipchak warrior. All these authors' projects are in the museums of our country, i.e. here we are talking about the fact that Kemal Akishev approved himself not only as a scientist but also as a popularizer of historical and cultural heritage of the ancient peoples of Kazakhstan. The capital of Kazakhstan, Nur-Sultan, abounds with images of the ancient Saka culture. This is especially noticeable from bird's eye view. The modern architecture of the capital represents the same animal style that complements modern architecture with its plasticity and splendor. The subjects of ancient art, decorating the elegant clothes of the Golden Man, entered the state symbols of our country. Nowadays, the Golden Man took his rightful place in the central hall of the National Museum of Kazakhstan. And thousands of visitors to the museum can touch the 1,000 years of secrets of the Great Steppe.
В 2005 году мы впервые выставку «Золотого воина» организовывали в Соединенных Штатах. Там каждая страна выставляла...
In 2005, we first participated with the Golden Man in the exhibition in the United States, where each country exhibited its soldiers, and all the attention of visitors was taken by our Golden Man, because warriors from other countries were made of simple iron. And the golden man appeared before the visitors in all its glory and in a bright guise. We're happy people that we have such a unique artifact. There are no such artifacts in the world. And the most important thing is that not only foreign viewers, but our Kazakhstanis began to treat our history differently. If earlier the golden man was just another artifact found, nowadays everyone is proudly aware that we are the descendants of the golden warrior.
То, конечно, сейчас с гордостью все говорят, что мы потомки Золотого воина.
The exposition of the Golden Man exhibited in the National Museum of Kazakhstan has already visited the cities of Russia, Belarus, Malaysia, Macedonia, Poland, China, Azerbaijan, South Korea, and Uzbekistan. In all countries, there was a special audience interest in the Golden Man. Numerous visitors to the exhibition experienced visual joy and a great surprise to the unique creation and skill of nameless masters of the past. The international tour, Procession of the Golden Man through the museums of the world, continues. The whole planet today has the opportunity to get acquainted and admire the history and culture of the Great Steppe. The land of Kazakhstan faithfully keeps its secrets, and only from time to time generously shares its secrets. Kemal Akishev created an entire archaeological school, and his followers and students have amazed the world with unique finds in the last 3 decades. The National Museum of Kazakhstan is replenished every year with new finds of archaeologists. The exposition of the National Museum presents unique archaeological finds from the Saka Mounds of Taksai, Western Kazakhstan region, Taldi II, Karaganda region, and barrow, East Kazakhstan region.
Мир меняется, отношения меняются, Казахстан, казахский народ, казахская популяция.
The world is changing, the attitude is changing. Kazakhstan and the Kazakh people loudly declare themselves. Here they find a huge number of golden people, a powerful cultural layer opens, and Kemal Akishev stood at the origins of all these modern discoveries. He supported, developed, created. We all actually came out from under his greatcoat. The first golden man for us will always be the first. It's like opening the route. The Quran includes an opening book of Fatiha Surah. This is the beginning. And here's the first golden man who opened the way to the Kazakh archaeologists. Elements typical for Scythian animalism are used today, millennia later, in monumental sculpture. In the Independence Monument in Almaty, the statue of a golden warrior on a flying leopard. The aesthetic originality of the statue of the Golden Man is in the transfer of the spirit of the Saka era by the language of plastics. The flying leopard seems to have descended from the headdress of the Saka prince, in which there are figures of winged leopards, a common image of power in the animal style. The static figure of the Golden Man is nevertheless dynamic. All its lines are subordinated to the flight of the beast, and when looking from the side, it resembles an arc of light. The Golden Warrior, found in 1969 during the excavations of Issyk Mound in Almaty region, gave rise to serious archaeological discoveries of our time. In 2010, the State Issyk Reserve Museum was established. It is located in Almaty region near the city of Issyk and was founded on the site of the Issyk burial mounds.
основными темами изучения и деятельности музея является, конечно, сакская, скифо-сакская так называемая культура.
The main topics of study and activities of the museum include the Scythian Saka culture and directly the Golden Man. Every year since 2011, the museum conducts archaeological excavations, and these excavations bring the museum a large number of artifacts. Besides, the museum makes researches of the so-called settlement Rahat for the last 3 years, and there were revealed a number of burials of the Turkic period. According to Beken Nurmagomedov, there probably was the whole Saka settlement, but we should prove it.
Средневековые, но продолжаются исследования. По утверждению Бекената, возможно, там находилось даже целое городище сакское. Но это нам предстоит только доказать.
Я уверен, что археология Казахстана, будущее это будет...
I'm sure that the future of Kazakhstan's archaeology will be amazing because those finds that we have is not only of great interest, but also reverses the historical course of time.
Течение времени.
We found a Taksai warrior in West Kazakhstan. Recently, a golden warrior was discovered in Zaysan area. And of course, if we find a house of a golden warrior, the history of Kazakh people and the history of Great Steppes will be written quite in other letters.
История казахского народа, история Великой Степи будет писаться совсем другими буквами.
In 1997, when it was decided to move the capital from Almaty to Tselinograd, Kemal Akishev began to study the history of the central regions of Kazakhstan. The ancient settlement of Bozok was another of his discoveries.
During his postgraduate studies, Akishev found information that there was an ancient city on the Ishim River. And even Margulan, in one of his articles, noted that there is a settlement named Buzuk on the banks of the Ishim. And in the autumn of 1998, we accidentally discovered it. It was 5 and 7 kilometers from the city center among the swamps, where we found the remains of the settlement.
The ruins of the settlement represent a typical steppe layout. Low up to 1 meter, earthen ramparts surround the flat surfaces of square-shaped sides and are located on an area of 30 hectares. Bozok settlement consists of 3 separate groups: central, northern, and southern. The central part of the settlement is formed by 3 structures close to square forms, which archaeologists call quarters. The quarters adjoin each other, but each of them is separately surrounded by a rampart and a moat. The central part of the settlement, at the junction of all 3 quarters, has a rectangular platform, elongated from west to east. This elevation is the sacred center of the settlement.
Городище Бузок, оно основано в VIII веке.
Bozok settlement was founded in the 8th century by ancient Turks. It's 1,200 years old. It's not large. Its ruins are located on the eastern shore of the lake. Initially, Akishev called this monument Buzuk after the name of this lake. But when he met with Nazarbayev in 2003, Nursultan Abishevich suggested that he consider the etymology of this word. And since then, the settlement was called Bozok, which means light arrow, and that's how it's entered the archaeological and scientific space of Kazakhstan and Eurasia.
Вошло в археологическое научное пространство и Казахстана, и, в общем-то, в целом Евразии.
As a rule, Bozok is usually divided into 3 stages of its development. The first period, from 8th to 10th centuries, when the settlement was a fortress city of the Kipchaks and a military headquarters, later possibly turning into the residence of their ruler. More than 16 radiocarbon dates verified by archaeologists confirm that the settlement appeared 1,200 years ago in the era of the Western Turkic Khaganate. The second period, 13th to 14th century, when the Mongol invasion began, the city was abandoned. Something strange happened. The destroyed Bozok was used as a Muslim necropolis. The third period captures the time of the Golden Horde era and continues until modern times. The ruins of the settlement acquire the status of a cult center and become the burial place of the nobility. Archaeologists note that they found a silver coin in one of the graves, which is believed to have been issued in 1321.
Сегодня выясняется, что это не столько городище, сколько, знаете, такое святилище, культовый центр.
Today it turns out that this is not only a settlement but also a sanctuary, a cult center. It appeared as a cult center in the era of the ancient Turks. Then, in the Kipchak era, in the 10th and 12th centuries, they appeared irrigation systems of the large area. And were built houses. And in the period when the territory of Kazakhstan became part of the Golden Horde, Muslim mausoleums of burnt bricks were built there.
Золотой Орды стал ислам, то почему-то на этом месте стали строить мавзолеи из сжженного кирпича.
The most famous find of Bozok settlement is a woman with pearls. Students who participated in the excavations nicknamed her Inju, which means pearls. The Inju burial also had a leather bag with a bronze mirror inside. The study of Bozok settlement gives scientists a unique opportunity to reconstruct more than 1,000 years of the continuous history of the region. Not so often you will meet such complexes of monuments in northern and central Kazakhstan. To be more precise, such complexes as Bozok have not yet been found in the region at all.
Today, this settlement is important for the history of Nur Sultan in the sense that it shows the date. It's known that 1,200 years ago, the ancient Turks had already settled down the upstream of the Issyk and created zones where they lived.
Kemal Akishev chose the science of archaeology and devoted his life to it. Every summer for 56 years, he was on the route. A lot has been done. He brought up a highly professional team of archaeologists, specialists in all branches of the science of antiquities. Kemal Akishev belongs to the galaxy of scientists and encyclopedists born in the era of the formation of science, an era requiring the individual to display organizational talents, the ability to foresee, put forward ideas, set goals, and be able to implement them. The breadth of outlook, knowledge of monuments of various natural landscape and historical cultural regions. Selfless work put Kemal Akishev forward as the organizer of the Archaeological Service of Kazakhstan. He is the author of over 200 scientific works, monographs, textbooks, brochures, and scientific articles, many of which are translated into foreign languages. Today it is safe to say that Kemal Akishev was one of the patriarchs and creators of Kazakh archaeology, and his biography is the biography of Kazakh archaeology.